A nation smaller than New York City had decided to create the world's largest port, from the sea itself. That nation was Singapore. In February 2015, engineers began turning open ocean into the most ambitious infrastructure project in Asia. The plan was simple but massive. Build a $20 billion megaport to handle 65 million containers every year. If it succeeds, it will even outclass Shanghai, the current world leader in shipping. But this was never just about size. It was about survival. Singapore has no natural resources, no farmland, and no space left to expand. So instead of giving up, it decided to reclaim the ocean. Across 26 kilometers of coastline, Tuas Mega Port began to rise from the water. Bulldozers floated, cranes moved like chess pieces, and AI systems directed every lift and load. Each section was built with precision, designed to run 24 hours a day, fully automated. This was Singapore's way of turning engineering into power, because when you can't grow land, you build it. By the end of this story, you'll see how Tuas Megaport will make Singapore the undisputed king of global trade. So how did this tiny nation outsmart geography to redraw the map of commerce? In 1819, Sir Stamford Raffles founded Singapore, a port with no natural harbor, no resources, and no room to grow. All it had was location, but that single advantage would become its superpower. Over time, the island learned how to turn weakness into strategy. While others chased land and oil, Singapore built its future on efficiency and control. It didn't wait for resources, it created systems. Every decision became about maximizing what little space existed. That mindset turned into national DNA. Today, about 25% of the world's trade passes through the Strait of Malacca, right beside Singapore. Every ship, every route, every supply chain, all pass within reach of this tiny island nation. It may not have oil, but it has position, planning, and precision. While some countries dig into the earth for wealth, Singapore mines time and efficiency. And what it lacked in land, it simply built from the sea. That's why Singapore's question was never, can we survive? It was, how far can we lead? A small island with massive ambition began turning the ocean into infrastructure. Even its sand and fresh water are imported, yet its economy rivals superpowers. That's not luck. That's engineering with purpose. So what kind of plan could take such a constraint and turn it into a $20 billion weapon of trade? Between 2012 and 2015, Singapore approved the plan for the Tuas Mega Port. It was not a small project. It was the country's biggest move in trade history. The goal was simple: build a new port that could carry Singapore's future, but the risk was huge. If it failed, it would cost a generation's budget. The plan had 4 phases and a clear deadline: 2040. When done, it would be the largest fully automated port in the world. Everything would run through AI cranes and driverless trucks. No other country had tried this at this scale. But first, engineers needed to build land from the sea. On maps, they drew a new coastline before a single wall was built. That alone showed how bold this plan was. To make space, every old terminal had to move to Tuas. That meant rebuilding the entire shipping network while it was still running. The question was, could they rebuild without falling behind? It was a battle between progress and continuity. Stop, and the economy slows. Move, and risk failure. The first phase took 34 million man-hours to complete. Every hour mattered. This was not just construction. It was a test of national discipline. And one challenge still remained. How do you make land rise from deep water strong enough to hold a world's port? From 2015 to 2022, Singapore started turning the sea into solid land. They reclaimed 1,337 hectares using 448 giant caissons. Each caisson weighed about 15,000 tons, as tall as a 10-story building. It was like building a city on water. Teams worked in rotating shifts under the tropical sun, laying each section with perfect precision. They built 8.6 kilometers of seawalls to hold everything in place. One mistake could sink the project, literally. The ground had to stay firm, or the dream would collapse. This was nature versus engineering, and every tide tested that balance. The same walls designed to hold containers were also strong enough to defend against rising sea levels. That meant the port wasn't just for trade, it was also climate defense. The engineers knew there was no backup plan. If the foundations cracked, billions would be lost. So they worked day and night to make sure every block, every seal, and every inch held tight. By the time the final caisson was placed, the ocean floor had turned into future land. Singapore had done what few nations even dared to try. But this was only half the challenge. Now that the land was born, another question rose. How could they make it move faster than any human ever could? By 2022, the first 3 berths of Tuas Mega Port were ready. This was not a normal port. It was fully automated. More than 1,000 autonomous guided vehicles, AGVs, moved non-stop across the docks. Each AGV could travel 25 kilometers per hour, carrying containers with 0 drivers. The air was calm, no horns, no shouting, just quiet efficiency. Above them, yard cranes as tall as 12-story buildings lifted containers with machine accuracy. Every motion came from AI algorithms, not human hands. Inside control rooms, operators watched screens, managing a port run by code and sensors. For the first time, humans supervised and machines performed. It was technology and precision working at a global scale, but not without a cost. As automation rose, workers wondered what place humans had left in this system. It became a debate between speed and jobs, progress and people. Still, the plan moved forward. Each AGV charged wirelessly, like a smartphone, ready to work again within minutes. Singapore had created a machine city on water, a port that never sleeps. And as the system grew faster each day, one thing became clear. The future of trade was no longer human-led. At the center of Tuas Mega Port is a massive AI control hub. This is where every container, every truck, and every crane is tracked in real time. It's the brain that keeps the entire port alive. Using digital twins, the system builds a virtual copy of every ship and machine. If a crane moves in real life, its digital twin moves too, instantly. Thousands of sensors connect through 5G networks, feeding non-stop data to the hub. Here, one operator can manage work that once needed dozens of people. Nothing moves without being seen, and nothing is lost. This gives Singapore something rare, complete control over speed and safety. Even when storms hit, the AI predicts and adjusts faster than the weather can change. That's how Tuas keeps trade flowing while others stop. But power always brings risk. If one glitch hits Tuas, global trade feels it. That's the price of being the world's most connected port. It's digital supremacy, but also dependence on technology. Every container now carries a digital tag that marks its exact GPS location. The port doesn't just move goods, it thinks for them. And as the system grows smarter each year, another question begins to form. Can this same intelligence make the port fully sustainable too? Singapore has set a clear goal: reach net zero emissions by 2050, and Tuas Mega Port is built to lead that mission. It's not just about speed anymore, it's about sustainability. Across the port, solar grids, electric cranes, and eco-concrete have already cut emissions by 72%. Even the yard trucks and cargo movers run on clean power. The system is designed to grow without pollution. When ships dock, they no longer burn fuel to stay powered. Instead, they plug directly into shore power, saving thousands of tons of carbon every year. It's a simple idea with a global impact. Even the concrete walls are mixed with recycled slag from steel plants. Nothing goes to waste. Every part of Tuas proves that growth and green goals can work together. But here's where it gets smarter. Sustainability isn't just for image. It's a competitive weapon. Cleaner ports attract more partners, more trade, and more respect. That's how Singapore turns green innovation into economic power. Yet a quiet question remains inside every discussion. Can a port this massive truly stay carbon neutral while running non-stop? Because when one single port replaces all others, unity and efficiency become the biggest challenges of all. By 2040, all of Singapore's existing city terminals will move into Tuas Mega Port. Every dock, every crane, every container, combined into one single hub. It's the end of one chapter and the start of another. Old ports like Tanjong Pagar and Pasir Panjang will close, marking the end of a century of history. It's a bittersweet moment. The city loses its old docks but gains a new era of trade. The new port stretches 26 kilometers and holds 66 berths. It will handle nearly 85% of all cargo transshipment moving through Singapore. That means most containers entering Asia will pass through Tuas first. Every box, every ship, every crane connects to one command center, the brain of the port. Thousands of containers are rerouted every day in real time. This level of control keeps the system fast and precise, but it also raises pressure. Can one port really manage the weight of an entire nation's trade without error? Centralization gives efficiency, but it also creates risk. One system means one possible failure. Still, the benefits are massive. Merging all ports will free enough harbor space to build the greater southern waterfront, twice the size of Manhattan's Central Park. As Tuas expands, the world waits to see the next step, the arrival of ships built for the future. Tuas Mega Port was built for the biggest ships in the world. Its seabeds were deepened to fit 400-meter vessels, longer than 4 football fields. No ship is too big, and no cargo is too heavy. Each of these ultra-large ships can carry over 24,000 containers at once. That means fewer trips, less fuel, and faster delivery. It's simple math, talks, and Singapore captures them all. Some megaships even skip Shanghai and stop at Tuas instead to save time and cost. The deeper the dock, the greater the advantage. Each berth at Tuas goes deeper than a 12-story building is tall. This lets the port handle the world's largest trade vessels without delay. Competitors are now rushing to catch up, but few have the depth, space, or speed to match Singapore. In today's world, size and access decide who controls trade, and Tuas leads both. But the real secret behind its power isn't just in the ships it serves. It's in where it stands, right at the heart of the world's busiest trade route. Tuas Mega Port stands right at the gateway to the Strait of Malacca. It's the most important sea route on Earth. Every fourth container shipped anywhere in the world passes through these narrow waters. From oil leaving the Middle East, to electronics built in Asia, to goods headed for Europe, everything crosses here. The strait connects over 600 ports across 120 countries. That makes Singapore the main checkpoint of global trade. Ships can't avoid it, and no shortcut exists. Once, this geography gave Singapore an edge. Now, technology multiplies that power. With Tuas, every passing vessel can refuel, reload, or transfer cargo faster than anywhere else. Whoever controls this route controls the flow of the world's economy. It's that simple. But in a world of rising great power competition, staying neutral is harder than ever. Singapore must balance between East and West, between commerce and politics. Nearly 25% of all global trade moves through these 500 miles of sea, and Tuas sits at its center. By 2040, all these forces, geography, technology, and ambition will converge here. And that's when Singapore's plan to dominate global trade will be fully revealed. By 2040, the Tuas Mega Port will be fully complete. It will handle more than 65 million containers every year, more than any other port on Earth. That means a tiny island nation will outpace every superpower in global trade. A total of $20 billion spent, 66 berths built, and a fully electric system in place. Every crane, truck, and control tower will run on clean power. Ships will arrive guided by AI, unload automatically, and leave greener than ever before. The process that once took hours now happens in minutes. Even Shanghai, once the world's biggest port, will route overflow cargo through Singapore. That's how complete Tuas's control will be. But with power comes pressure. Can Singapore hold the crown it just forged? Dominance brings speed, but also dependence. One system controls everything. From one control room, operators can see every container within 3 seconds of movement. That's efficiency no nation can match. And yet, this achievement goes beyond trade. Tuas is no longer just a port. It's the center of global logistics. The question now isn't if it leads, but whether Singapore has just secured the future of world trade itself. Tuas Mega Port isn't just a port. It's Singapore's second independence. From a colonial trading post, the nation has become the master of global routes. Pride now replaces doubt, as brains prove stronger than borders. Geography gave Singapore its position, but innovation gave it power. What began as reclaimed sea now reclaims the throne of trade. And in a world ruled by giants, smart engineering just showed it can still rule the waves. Singapore's $20 billion dream has turned into a living symbol of what vision can do. It proves that size never decides strength. Strategy does. In a world built on power, Singapore chose precision instead. Dominance no longer comes from territory, but from technology that never sleeps. Tuas Mega Port stands as the nation's crown, showing how ideas can outbuild empires. This is how innovation rewrites destiny. Subscribe for more stories where nations change their fate through engineering and vision. Do you think Singapore's Tuas Port will stay the king of global trade, or will someone dare to out-engineer it next?